The construction industry is going through a very large change these days. A lot of people are looking at Construction 4.0 and how to digitize the business. So we wanted to really address our labor productivity and find a way to track the labor productivity that was more objective and could be data-based instead of something that is people-based and not really scientific in nature. So we wanted to implement a solution that could help us track the laborer's productivity and help us engage the different aspects of the project and track them in a way to optimize the project and get the optimization and the labor productivity to become higher. That was our main objective. The second aspect that we were wanting to look into was the asset tracking and the asset productivity as well, to find out where all our high value assets were, and also be able to kind of optimize the different aspects of the costing, like the maintenance, for instance. So those were the two main aspects that we were looking to accomplish in the labor productivity and asset management solution. For us, the factors were basically that we wanted a solution that was ready to market. We didn't want to go through any proof of concepts without an understanding of what the solution would look like at the end. That was very important for us. So the factors that influenced our solution was obviously not just the pricing, but the benefits that we were going to attain from the solution at the end. That there was apparent business value, and that the use case and business case made sense for the business, and there was some optimization that was going to be proven from this project, and that we could get our revenue or get our ROI that made sense for the amount of money that was being spent on the project. So all of these were different factors that led us to eventually choose Dominate as our business partner. I think for us, as a strategy, productivity is one of the cornerstones that we really believe in optimizing, because we have a workforce of around 8,000 to 15,000, depending if you include subcontractors or not. And this is kind of the base of our work. So if we're able to optimize their performance by 1 or 2%, that has a huge business impact on us. So for us, that's one of the things that really led us to consider an optimization strategy, or consider software that could lead us to some kind of optimization relating to the laborers and the assets as well, because asset utilization is also something that is taken for granted. When an asset is being shipped to one of our sites, the fact that it's being utilized or not is not something that we really use to track. So we wanted to make sure that a solution that could be implemented that analyzed all of the different data points and could give us conclusions on the utilizations of both the assets and the laborers as well. During the initial process, we reached out to multiple vendors. We ran a vendor selection exercise, and multiple RFIs were sent to the different vendors. For us, the reason that Dominate really shone is the fact that they had an end-to-end solution, and they had local presence in the market as well. That was very important for us. They also provided us with customer references, which was another thing that gave us more confidence in their solution, that people were already using it, and it had a proven track record. For us, these were some of the main criteria that we used to identify and basically choose Dominate as our main vendor for the labor productivity and asset management. For me, the benefits that were most influential to the success of this project is one is the understanding the project completion percentage at a very accurate level. So before we used the project productivity, the problem with our project is that the tracking of the project itself was not done in real time, because we had no software to track that. When we moved to Dominate system, basically a lot of that changed, and we had the ability to look at the project on a real-time basis and look at what happened maybe last week, yesterday, the day before, and identify how much of the project completion actually occurred. This helped a lot with revenue recognition because we were able to identify how much of the revenue to recognize for the project. It also helped a lot with the resource allocation and the decisions related to the risks. Because if you could identify that the project was, for instance, not per the project plan, you'd be able to identify that much earlier on and take corrective actions. And these were two of the main things that we found very helpful. There are multiple business processes that were impacted by the implementation of Dominate's system because we had a lot of paper-based tracking that existed on the site before we implemented the system. So a simple example of that would be just the kind of time and attendance and linking it to what the workers would be working on for a specific day. Previous to Dominate's system, we knew when the laborers came in and came out of the site, but we didn't really know what they were working on in the middle. A simple statistic like how many laborers are currently unassigned to task was something that was very hard to identify, and the project managers and directors had a lot of trouble with these kind of questions. So the benefit of using something like Dominate's labor productivity solution is that you not only know if the laborer is working or on-site or not, but you also know which task he's assigned to. You know how many, for instance, carpenters you have that are currently working and how many that aren't working. So if there's a potential deficit in one of these skill sets in any of the other projects, you can easily identify which project to reallocate some of the resources from without going to hiring immediately. That for me is one of the core business processes that improved. The resourcing and resource allocation in general is one of the things that was significantly impacted by this project.